Miss Luter's AP Lit class. Welcome to our quick Brit Lit shtick. We're going to be discussing some breakthroughs in British literature during the Victorian period.
We'll be asking some critical questions that will hopefully be answered by the end of this video. They'll be, what authors wrote during the Victorian period? What were their writing styles? Were the novels received well or badly? And how did these novels reflect contemporary society?
We've contacted some famous icons in Victorian literature to help teach us about the Victorian period. We'll be learning from novelist Charles Dickens, Alice from Wonderland, the talented Bronte sisters, and Dracula himself. When they call, their FaceTime request will appear at the top, and we'll begin interviewing.
This should be fun! Oh, it seems we're getting our first caller, Charles Dickens. Before I answer, I just want to point out that he was an author far beyond his years. He was an English writer and a social critic. He created some of the world's most well-known fictional characters and is generally regarded as the greatest novelist of the Victorian period.
Okay, so let's answer before he hangs up on us. Hello? Mr. Dickens?
Bah! Who is that? My Lord in heaven, what is happening?
Hi, Mr. Dickens. You called us to help teach our AP Lit class about the Victorian period?
Hold your tongue, magic talking box.
Sir, it's called an iPhone.
A telephone? This is no telephone. There's an apparition on the rectangle, a demon.
Alright. Anyways, Mr. Dickens, could you tell us a little bit about your career and your novels?
You wish to buy one of my novels? Well, I accept cash and payment plans, all the like.
Actually, we wanted you to tell us about them.
Of course, you're trying to rob me. I see now. What did I expect from a demon? Very well, then.
We aren't demons. Anyway, what do you think caused your fame?
Well, to begin, my success began with the 1836 publication of the Pickwick Papers. I became famous for my satirical observation of character and society. I gained a trend among young adults of your age.
Wait, people our age, they actually understood it and literally made zero.
My
Do
novels
continue,
began,
Mr. Dickens.
most published in monthly or weekly installments, pioneered the serial publication of narrative fiction.
So basically you published your works weekly, which kept everyone interested, including young adults and teenagers.
Precisely.
So what are some of your notable works?
Well, as I said before, the Pickwick Papers, and also Oliver Twist, A Christmas Carol, David Copperfield, A Tale of Two Cities, and Great Expectations.
Hey, we read a lot of those in school. Did you receive a vigorous education?
No. I went to school for some time. However, my father was thrown in debtor's prison. I had to work in a factory to pay off his debts.
Did you have any political opinions?
Well, you could say I used my writing as a platform of sorts for my beliefs. My stories oftentimes satirize the political climate of my day, you see. I campaigned for children's rights, as you can see in Oliver Twist. I rallied against social stratification as well, which is evident in A Tale of Two Cities and Great Expectations.
Social stratifications?
Basically, the arbitrary class system based on wealth and social standings. It's absurd. It was rampant in the Victorian period.
Wow, this has been really informative, Mr. Dickens.
What
Thank
did you say? I cannot hear you, talking
I
rectangle.
said this has been very informative.
I think he hung up.
Well, wait, we're getting a FaceTime request.
Hello?
Hello? What rabbit hole is this? How do you do? I'm Alice in Wonderland. I was told to call here?
I'm sorry, you have reached the wrong number.
No, she hasn't. Hi, Alice. Do you mind if we ask you a few questions?
You may. However, please do be quick, as I'm desperately late for a tea party.
Will do.
So, Alice, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I was published in 1865, so that puts me right in the middle of the Victorian period. Lewis Carroll wrote my tale after hearing it in a rowboat. A friend of his was telling it to his daughter to pass the time.
Do you know much about Lewis Carroll?
Oh, but of course he did write me after all. His real name was Charles Lutwidge Dodgson. Lewis Carroll was his pen name. It seems everyone had a pen name during this time.
So why do you think your story has become so popular?
My story is considered to be one of the best examples of the literary nonsense genre. It's a novel about pure craziness and adventure. That's why children love me. The Mad Hatter told me all about the new movie made about my story. Johnny Depp was in it? I do say he's quite lovely. It seems my story is one for all audiences. Everyone loves my story.
So, how was your story received?
My story is considered to be one of the best examples of the literary nonsense genre. I am highly regarded by the literary experts of the 21st century.
Okay, but how was it received when it was published?
I was received just fine.
That's not what I heard.
Okay, fine. Whatever. It was given poor reviews when it was published. Are you happy now?
I'm sorry we pressured you, Alice.
I'm late for my tea. Good day.
What a strange character. The Bronte sisters are calling.
I love their stories. Aw man, the battery's low. I'll get the charger.
Alright.
No, you don't. Give me my hat.
Hello?
Hello, I'm Charlotte Bronte, and I'm the oldest of the three sisters. I wrote the book Jane Eyre.
I'm Elizabeth Bronte, and I wrote Wuthering Heights.
And I'm Anne Bronte. I'm the youngest, and I wrote Agnes Grey. And I'm the prettiest.
You wish. Anyway,
I really am. It's okay.
Okay.
So, tell me a little about your works.
Well, all three of our most notable works were published in the same year of 1847. We started writing a poetry book in 1845, but we all didn't have the same publisher, so it didn't work out well.
We had to go under the pseudonym Currier, Ellis, and Acton Bell to hide that we were women, not the best names, but kept it our initials.
Like I said, the books didn't go well. We only sold 3 copies.
It was because of your poems weren't that good.
Well, my book Jane Eyre was published first and instantly became a hit.
I don't know about that, but Emily and I published our works as one big book. Did you do that? I don't think so.
Wuthering Heights was, it was praised for its originality.
But then criticized for violence and immorality. My book was neutral, loved by everyone.
Why do you always have to bring that up? It's never that serious. You don't have to bring it up. All of our books were good.
Sisters, please. As the oldest and most successful, I'm telling you two that you must behave. They're such children. Please continue.
Charlotte and I traveled to London from our home in Yorkshire to our the publisher. They believed we were all one writer. The nerve.
And under Emily, no less.
Why'd you have to?
So, with the pseudonyms, how did everybody learn your real names?
We showed our publisher Pog that we were 3 separate people and also women. Soon our own names were on the cover.
That's lovely.
It definitely was. Did you know my second book, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, was considered the first feminist book, which makes me
Here we go.
the most successful writer.
No, you were
guys?
not the most successful
Hello?
writer. You were.
Guys.
Girl, I'm the
Hang
most
up.
It's
successful.
okay.
Okay.
I'm the oldest,
Goodbye.
so I'm successful. You're not.
I don't think so.
Okay, I got the charger.
I'm glad I'm an only child.
Okay.
I think that's all the callers we had scheduled for today.
No, it says we have one more.
Who?
It is I, Count Dracula, Vlad III, Prince of Wallachia of House Draculescu.
Hi, Dracula. Are you in bed?
There's a slight time difference from Mary's land and Mother Transylvania, so yes, Dracula was going to bed, mortal.
Sorry, Dracula. We're glad to get your call, though.
It's Count Dracula, foolish mortal.
Could you tell us a bit more about your tale, Dracula?
Count Dracula.
Okay, well, Count Dracula, could you please tell us about your tale?
I shall shock and horrify you with my tale and feast on your screams and cries for relief, only to meet them with despair.
Do go on.
Okay, the novel, written by Bram Stoker, tells the story of my attempt to move from Transylvania to England so that I might find new blood and spread the undead curse, and the battle between myself and a small group of foolish air-sucking men and women, led by Professor Abraham Van Helsing.
So, what kind of genre would that be considered?
My novel has been assigned to many literary genres, including vampire literature, horror fiction, the Gothic novel, and invasion literature. It touches on themes such as the role of women in Victorian culture, sexual conventions, immigration, colonialism, and post-colonialism.
Well, it's a good thing that you mentioned women's role in Victorian culture because we're teaching our class about that.
Oh, really? Well, let me educate you further. This was the era of the confronting new women who strove to be emancipated both politically and sexually, a concept which much of Britain at the time found highly seditious and unsettling. My horrifying story describes this new woman.
Well, how so?
The three different women in my awe-inspiring story: Mina Murray, Lucy Westenra, and the unholy trio of vampiric brides oscillate between the pious, pure, and docile women they should be, and the rapacious, voluptuous sirens they become under the my cursed influence. Their transformations were meant to represent women's dangerous weakness when faced with irresistible and seductive power.
Wow, so your story is not PG.
What is this PG you speak of?
What can you tell us about Bram Stoker?
Aha! Well, Sir Stoker was an Irishman. He was bedridden as a child from an unknown illness, about which he said, "I was naturally thoughtful, and the leisure of long illness gave opportunity for many thoughts which were fruitful according to their kind in later years."
What a sick puppy.
Indeed. Before writing my festeringly terrible tale, Stoker met Armand van Bury, a Hungarian writer and traveler. Dracula likely emerged from Van Bury's dark stories of the Carpathian Mountains. Stoker then spent several years researching European folklore and mythological stories of vampires. Why they call this folklore, I do not know.
So, what writing style did he use?
My story is an epistolary novel, written as a collection of realistic diary entries, telegrams, letters, ship's logs, and newspaper clippings, all of which add a level of detailed realism to his story, a skill he developed as a newspaper writer. However, I assure you it is all real. I'm very real, I assure you of it.
Okay, so it was well received when were published, correct?
Yes, however, it was also deemed inappropriate and terrifying. At the time of its publication, Dracula was considered a straightforward horror novel based on imaginary creations of supernatural life.
Thank you so much, Count Dracula. This was really helpful.
I must retire now, mortal. Even the dead require their sleep.
Bye! What a nice vampire. Well, guys, we've reached the end of our quick glitch tip.
This has been really successful. We got some solid information.
Yep, we talked to Charles Dickens,
That was weird.
Alice,
That was weirder.
the Bronte
They
sisters,
argued the whole time.
and Dracula.
He was nice.
Overall, I think they gave a nice feeling of what the Victorian era was like. Pretty stiff, but with feminism and class unrest at its back door. If you have any questions, you can look at the notes we passed out. I think.
My novel.
Heck.
Bye. Give us an A.
Please,
Please.
give us an A.
We need this.
A+.
This was hard.